as I prepared for the audition, I enlisted the services of a performance coach. Because keep in mind that I had been freelancing and playing for 20 years. I had not taken an audition in over 10 years. Auditioning and playing in an orchestra are two different things. You have to go through the audition process, and what I mean by that is an audition process for a major symphony orchestra involves, they will get 300 resumes for one position. They'll invite maybe 100 of those people to actually come and play based on their resumes. They will then, maybe 50 to 75 will actually show up. You play a list of excerpts, pieces of the orchestral repertoire, behind a screen for 5 or 10 minutes. You go out, empty stage. This is not like playing in an orchestra. Like I said, it's a completely different process. Walk out on the stage by yourself. You're in a large room, or maybe you're actually in the hall where the orchestra performs, and there's a screen in front of you, or a screen in front of the audition committee. Either way, so they can't tell, to be fair. It is a brutal process. There's no way around it. No other way to describe it. And it's kind of a young person's game, to be quite honest. Like I said, I was very comfortable doing what I was doing, but to go through that process for a job that I already had, or felt like I had, that was the challenge. So I enlisted the services of Don Green. Don Green is a performance coach, has had great success with helping people win auditions. He started with athletes and he moved into the musical realm, and we're the better for it in the musical world. He had me reading a lot of books because I really wanted to be prepared. So he had me reading a lot of books. I think he was trying to keep my mind off it. Some of the books that he wrote. One was called Performance Success, that I highly recommend for anybody. Another one was called The New Toughness Training for Sports by Dr. James Lair. And I realized what he was trying to do is to get me to think like an athlete and prepare myself like an athlete. He also had me reading some other mind-expanding books like Zen and the Art of Archery, and books by Wayne Dyer. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but again, I think he was just trying to keep my mind open, not obsess about this process that I was about to go through, and try to teach me how to create a wave, if you will. What I mean by that is waves, if you think about them, are a force of nature. There's light waves, sound waves. The stock market is a wave, if you will. My son loves roller coasters. Those are a wave. In fact, let's do the wave. I think there's enough people. I think there's enough people here to do this. We start right to left. Okay, one more time.
Oh, we're supposed to stand up.
Well, there is that. Okay. What is it about that that is so infectious? What is it about the wave that makes 60,000 people in a stadium spontaneously start doing that? And not just yelling and screaming. They're doing it in some sort of agreed upon sequence. It's really fascinating. It's like a group of ants, how they do this stuff without really talking about it. They don't have a committee to say, how are we going to move this piece of bread across into our ant? They just do these things. And the same thing happens with humans when they're in a stadium and they're bored. It's time to do the wave. And I think the reason that is so fun, whether it's roller coasters or doing the wave, is I think that's the wave, the up and downness of things, is one of nature's divine principles. And so Don was trying to teach me how to create a wave. Another way to think of it is a marathoner or an athlete. Let's take a marathoner. What does a marathoner do the day before the marathon? Yeah, he's not running a marathon. I can tell you that. if he knows what he's doing. And so, but what do musicians often do, especially young musicians, inexperienced, even very experienced musicians, tend to do the night before a big performance? Drink, yes. Practice a lot. We pound it. Oh, I got this gig tomorrow. I gotta learn my music. I gotta make sure I got it. I gotta make sure it's there. And we should not do that, is what I'm getting at. We need to create a wave so that we have a peak moment. I was asked to write an article last year. So what I'm about to read is actually something that I wrote that it was about lip care, but I was trying to crystallize what I had learned in my experience at the audition and working with Don Green. And there are copies of it back there. Let me just read 2 paragraphs from it. How to create more good days. Here is another way to illustrate the stress recovery concept. Let's say you've had a really good day. Maybe you finally nailed that high lick in a piece you've been working on for weeks. The temptation is to do it many times just to make sure you've got it, and after all, it's fun. But you need to resist that temptation. Play the lick a few times, but do not pound it over and over and over. Why? Because to achieve that new plateau, you have just experienced a peak moment. Stress. And peak moments should always be followed by a valley. Recovery. Drinking. That's the way your body works. So you can either fight Mother Nature or work with her. She always wins, by the way. Have the discipline to take it easy. Discipline to take it easy the next day. And then the following day, your patience will be rewarded by being fresh and strong and having an even better day. Trust me on this. If I had understood this concept as a young player, I would have avoided a lot of frustration. So late in my playing career, I found a new way to keep things fresh by being very aware and very conscious of these waves in terms of my day-to-day preparation and trying to create waves, not just let them happen to me without me being aware of what was happening. And I'll just point out that creating these waves is actually a 3-step process. We think of the stress and the recovery, but there's that middle ground. And the middle ground is where we actually should spend most of our time. So I'll very quickly walk you through how I would do this and how I would suggest you in your own practice and your preparation do this. Think of 3 practice sessions. One that you would call easy, one that you would call medium, and one that you might call hard, but I don't like the word hard. I prefer the word challenging. So you're going to cycle through, and again, these words are all very subjective, depending on your ability, where you are as a player. What might be hard or challenging for another person might be very easy for somebody else. So find in your own practice a sequence of studies or etudes or scales or whatever it is that you're doing that you would consider easy, not really pushing yourself physically. And then another version of that that's a little more difficult, but still what we call that middle. And then your challenging days. And if you take those 3 and keep cycling them one after another, for instance, on a Monday, I would always like to break up my practice into 2 sessions, morning and evening. So on a Monday morning, I'm doing it very easy. Monday evening, I'm doing what I call a medium practice session. Tuesday morning, I'm doing challenging, hard. Tuesday evening, I'm back to easy. Wednesday morning now I start medium. Wednesday evening is a challenging day. And you continue that, what turns into a 3-day process, as it did for me anyway. Or you could do, if you only can practice once a day, then do that same thing. Easy, medium, challenging, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That, as I got more involved with other things, that simple process, that simple mindset enabled me to multitask, enabled me to start doing something new and keep my chops up, keep them fresh, keep them functioning without feeling like I used to have to pound it all the time, something that especially brass players are accused of, and rightfully so.